Do you know Mario? You must know Mario. He's the little figure who fights his way past monsters and dragons. He's the hero of the Nintendo game, which in North America alone will bring in an estimated $4 billion to its Japanese owners this year. So Mario is precious property, and that's why his powers are now at the center of a furious dispute. Nora Pratt has that story.
Once upon a time in the land of home video games was a powerful ruler called Nintendo. He controlled 80% of the home video game market in North America and managed to put a Nintendo home video system in almost 1 in 3 North American homes.
Nintendo gameplay? Hi, this is Jason. How may I help you?
Crystalis.
Yeah.
I can't defeat the general.
Inside Nintendo's castle, an army of kids man hotlines to solve the everyday problems of home video game land.
Did you use the Sword of Thunder?
Yeah.
And what happens?
Nothing.
Do you know where the Death Desert is?
Where the what?
Death Desert?
Nope.
But deep in the backrooms of the kingdom, executives plan the corporate battles that guard its multi-billion-dollar turf. Last year alone, mighty Nintendo spent over $7 million just in legal bills, keeping unwanted intruders out of what they consider their domain. Meet the man who's decided to take on the king of the castle.
Coming into the meeting, Ron?
His name is David Harding.
Jim?
And he owns Comerica Corporation on the outskirts of Toronto.
Alan, you ready?
This 25-man operation is small, but Harding has big plans to cash in on Nintendo's ready-made market with a new product called Game Genie, and it's got Nintendo fighting mad.
I just wanted to let you all know that as of this morning, we were served by Nintendo.
Here's why. Game Genie is an electronic device that lets you give new superpowers to the battling heroes of Nintendo's games. Harding thought he had the perfect answer to frustrated game players' prayers. But Nintendo thought he had a nightmare, according to its senior vice president, Howard Lincoln.
These people are riding on our coattails. They are taking our copyrighted work and changing it. There's no difference between what's happening here than if I were to write Gone with the Wind and change the characters, change the story, change the ending.
There is quite simply no bigger selling toy today, Nintendo, the games that have captivated an entire generation of children. Kids and more than a few adults find Nintendo's games engrossing, challenging, and just plain fun. But some people say there's a dark side to this video obsession. They're worried these games are literally addictive, and they fear we may be raising a generation of video zombies.
Video games do promote a sort of psychological dependency.
I don't play that much.
It's like they're druggies almost. They're really addicted to this thing.
This is a story about a game some say is so exciting, so enthralling, so much fun, that if you ever start playing, you won't be able to stop. You'll play hour after hour, just you and your video warrior, your fingers flying over buttons as you jump, fly, crush, and kill your way through an alternate reality. This is a story about Nintendo.
This home video game has become the most popular electronic toy ever. The Canadian market for Nintendo is almost $300 million a year, and it tops almost $4 billion a year in the U.S. Research there shows that the star of one game, Super Mario, is now more popular than Mickey Mouse. As company spokesmen say, Nintendo doesn't just market technology, it markets a way of life.
And some parents are getting worried about this way of life. They feel that the Nintendo video games are very different from most pastimes. These games can be not just fun, but totally absorbing, becoming, in some cases, the biggest part of a child's life. Susan Hermelin of Montreal is a mother who has wrestled with the nemesis of Nintendo. Her 2 children, Ian and Michelle, playing here with their friend Daniel, convinced Susan and her husband to buy a game unit.
What was it like when you got the game?
a very big problem. You know, there's a lot of screaming and yelling. It's like this frenzy, you know, I'm getting to the next millennium, and this is all they talk about in school. We don't discuss books, we don't discuss playing, we don't do anything. Which millennium are you at? Which level are you at? And then, you know, you sit quiet in the kitchen, all of a sudden you hear, yes, wow, come quick, I've reached the next level, I'm in this millennium. And you're like, what millennium, what level, what's the difference, what does it matter?
But that next millennium or level in a video game can make a lot of difference to a child. Dr. Jeffrey Derevensky, a child psychologist in Montreal, says the compulsive behavior these games bring out in some children can be a major source of conflict for some families.
Many parents claim that there's a major problem around dinner time. Please come up for dinner. Child says, 1 more minute.
What happens at dinner time when you say, okay, shut it off, it's time to eat?
I'm almost coming, I'm almost there, I have to finish, I have to this, I have to that.
Before long, there's a shouting match between parent and child.
You know, you tolerate it once, twice, 3 times, and then you just get furious.
Parent goes down, shuts the TV off.
You come down the stairs, you just yank it out of the wall.
And child starts throwing a tantrum.
How could you do that? I was right at that level, you killed it, I'll never get to that world again, and it's like almost a hysterical tantrum.
All because the child has difficulty limiting himself and the parent has not set firm limits.
Do you think you play it too much, or do you think that you just play it every now and then?
I play a lot.
While parents grapple with the vice-like grip Nintendo can hold on some children, the company itself denies any notion these video games are actually addictive. Peter McDougall is the general manager of Nintendo of Canada.
Well, there's really no tangible evidence to suggest that in the true sense of the word. We do know that it provides many hours of enjoyment for all family members. In extreme cases, we do certainly encourage parental supervision. This is the same way that they would supervise the hour their children go to bed at night, or how much ice cream they might eat.
World 1, level 4.
This is where video game junkies from across Canada phone, the Nintendo Hotline Centre in Toronto. Young game counselors man the phones to help with problems and obstacles players run up against in their games, and offer tips to the truly devoted.
What would you like to know about Zelda?
On the second quest?
Hi. Yes?
I'm trying to find 3 things. I'm trying to find the letter that you can get that you give to the old woman.
Okay, from the beginning of the game, go 6 screens north.
These counselors give enough advice to keep players challenged, but not totally frustrated by the difficulty of the games. This hotline also provides Nintendo with valuable market research on their products and information on what makes a game successful for the players. Claude Braun is a neuropsychologist at the University of Quebec in Montreal who's done research on video games. He says these games can hook you just like gambling does. Both are obsessive and defined by reward.
I think the people who have conceived video games have done it in a way to promote habit acquisition, and the way to do that is to use reinforcement schedules like they've learned to do in gambling parlors. It's the same principle. To have somebody acquire a habit, you reinforce them immediately and constantly, and that immediately creates a habit very rapidly.
Hi there, everybody. Thanks for coming out to the 1990 Nintendo National Championships.
But what if this habit were educational and not just recreational? This is the great lure of video games for educators. But right now, what children are learning from video games is mostly related to just the game itself. Dr. Jeffrey Derevensky.
The problem is that there's no transfer. That is, it improves the eye-hand coordination on Nintendo, but it won't improve the child's handwriting. It'll improve the child's concentration, the ability to sit still and watch Nintendo. It won't necessarily transfer to the ability to sit still in a classroom or to work on one's homework for longer periods of time.
Still, researchers who are working on video games as learning tools see the habitual nature of these games as holding enormous promise, something they'd love to be able to tap into. Seymour Papert, a professor of learning research at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, is trying to solve this mystery. This past summer, Papert made a deal with Nintendo. In return for a $3 million research grant, he'll share the results of his study of the relationship between playing video games and learning in children.
Now, I think when we look at these games, we see in a particularly pure and powerful form the quality of engagement, the holding power. And I'm really interested in understanding that much better than anybody does until now.
Why do you think so many kids like this game?
Because for some people it's just fun to press the buttons. Other people it's challenging to win the game and just say to everyone, I won the game. Come and watch me win the game.
What makes somebody become deeply engaged with something is very far from being understood. And I think it's central to the understanding of intellectual development.
Susan Hermelin, like many parents, is concerned about what happens socially when her children play these games, instead of playing outside with their friends.
I find that there's lack of social interaction. What happens is the friends come over, and neither one has the patience for the other one. Neither one is enjoying when the other one is quelling, I've reached this millennium, you know, and neither one is happy for the other. They just want their turn.
Professor Seymour Papert recognizes this problem, but thinks it's unfair to accuse video games of being an only harmful technology.
I think an important principle is that technology, whether it's a computer or a video game or piano, isn't in itself good or bad in its effects. I mean, a child who is, for whatever reason, shy and isolated and withdrawn can become more so, given computers for companions. Given such a child, I would say the problem is to address how to get this child out of that shyness, out of that, back into social life. And computers can help that too, or video games, that in a context where they're being shared with other children, they can become a vehicle for greater socialization.
So what to do, to Nintendo or not? Well, you ignore this technological toy at your peril. Right now, at the base of this control deck is a computer cable connector. In about a year or so, you'll be able to connect via your telephone and turn this video game into a networking terminal. So you'll be able to shop, to order pizza, and even play video games with someone on the other side of the country. So there'll be even more pressure to get this technology in your house.
All of this will mean parents will have to face the thorny questions of not only whether to buy this technology, but if they do, how to harness it, integrating it into their family without surrendering control to this video intruder.
I think what we as parents have to do is try to spend a little more quality time with our children. We have to begin to learn to be consistent. We have to learn to set limits, and we have to learn how to say no.
People ask me for advice like, should I buy a Nintendo game system? Yeah, I think the question's on the wrong level. I think that, don't you know? I mean, why are you asking me? And don't you know your child? Don't you know what the child's needs are and what the child is expressing through this? And if you don't, you ought to know more about your children. If you do know, you can answer it better than I can.
In case you think Nintendo is the only game in town, well, it's not. There are others. Sega, Atari, TurboGrafx. You just hear Nintendo's name more often because it has about 80% of the market. And all of these games are trying to outdo each other by offering more sophisticated graphics, more intricate programs, more power, more fun. So get used to them, because you're probably going to hear a lot more about them in the future.